Okay, so this is example 2. This time we're going to be looking at a binomial probability distribution that we did in class yesterday. So we looked at a World Cup shootout and we said we calculated that there was a 0.748 probability that if you took a shot, you would get a goal. Okay, so this shouldn't really be plural. Goal, no goal. Okay. This time I thought it would be easier for you guys if I just put it into a decimal right now. I know I talked about it being as a percent in class, but it's a little bit easier if it's already in a decimal. Okay, so then non-goal, well, that's going to be the complement. So total probability is always 1. Again, another one of those really big ideas, minus the probability of getting a goal. So not getting a goal, 0.252. Okay, then underneath I'm going to look at how many total goals am I shooting. Well, I'm shooting 5 goals in a shootout. Again, just like we did in example 1, I want everything under that to just be the exact same thing. So I'm just going to do equals. That way, if now I'm taking 10 shots, everything changes to 10, and that's nice. It's all automatically going to change. Okay. The possible number of goals are 0, 1, 2. I could fill down, but there's not that many, so I'm just going to type that one in. For non-goals, it's going to equal total number of goals minus, total number of shots minus that particular number of goals. Okay, and then I'm going to fill that down. Now, for probability, this is a binomial probability because it's independent trials. Every single shot has the same probability of going in, or at least we're making that assumption. We only have 2 particular outcomes. Either it's a goal or it's not a goal. We don't care how it's not a goal. I don't care if I missed the target. I don't care if the goalie saved it or what happened. All I care is that it's not a goal, because that's all that matters in the end. So that's what makes it binomial. So in order to do binomial, again, we have to first calculate the number of paths that will lead to that particular event. And by event, I mean that particular number of goals out of the 5 shots. Okay, so we figured out in class today that that's a combination. So it's going to be, again, combin. And in this case, it's going to be 5 total shots, choose 0 that go in. Okay, then times, so times I just use the kind of asterisk above the 8. And then it's probability of success, which is in this case probability of getting a goal, to the power of. So to the power of, I just pressed Shift and 6, and it's the little uppy arrow, fancy named caret. And then I'm going to select the number of goals I want, because that's how many times I need to multiply that 0.748 by itself. Okay, then times probability of no goal. So that's up here, the 0.252. I just selected D6. Again, to the power of, in this case, 5. All right, now, notice I put brackets around the C6, but not the D6. I don't really need the brackets, but just to keep it consistent, we'll plop her in there. Now, if I drag that down, I'm going to get arrows again, like it asked me to autofill. Sometimes autofill doesn't work out. Okay, the reason it didn't work out, again, if I select on this one, and I take a look at what I'm actually looking at, that's fine. That's the 5 goals. Choose 1 goal. That's going to be the correct number of paths. That part's right. But then it's C7. This teal shade here in C7, there's no number there. I still want it to be up here where the 748 is. So that's not going to work. Okay. So that means we need to lock it in. How do we lock it in? $signs. So $sign in front of anywhere you have anything in row 6, because you want it to be locked into row 6. Okay. Then we are going to drag down. And there we go. This one, it overrode actually my sum function. It thought it wanted to fill down when I did that autofill button. So I don't actually want that to be that function. I just want that to be the sum. This is my double check to make sure that my probability totals to 100%. All right, so that is great. Before I even make my graph, I'll do my expected value. Doesn't really matter where you do that. So again, expected value is probability of me getting a success. So that's probability of me getting a goal on one particular shot times the number of shots. So that's 3.74. Okay, so now we're going to make our graph. So I'm going to select the important information that I want to graph. Right? Again, I have no goals in the middle, but I can get rid of that after anyway. So then I'm going to go Insert, Chart. It's going to graph too much stuff that I don't want. On my x-axis, I want number of goals. For my series, which is again my y-axis, it's technically the values that I'm putting in to be able to go up to my y-axis. But anyways, I'm going to remove goals. I'm going to remove non-goals, and it's just going to graph the probability. Then I'm going to customize, and I'm going to add my titles. Vertical axis title is probability. Horizontal axis title is number of goals scored. And I need a title. Probability, oh, forgot my space, distribution of number of possible goals. There we go. We're just going to move that over to the side so that we can see all our stuff. Close that piece down. Okay. Again, this time we can kind of talk about our probability distribution a little bit and the shape of it. So I can see that it is, again, a skewed distribution. It's asymmetric, right? I'm not centered in the middle, and I'm not balanced on either side. There's lower probabilities at a low number of goals, and there's higher probabilities at a high number of goals. That's because we have a high probability of scoring, right? If you've ever watched soccer, the net is gigantic, and it's really hard to save a penalty shot because they're shooting from pretty darn close. So you should get your penalty shots in. Okay, so that is the second example. For your question, your scenario, you're going to go through and set it up very similar to this. Again, there's some reflection questions at the bottom, so make sure you complete those. And then that is it for that assignment. Then you just upload it into Google Classroom.